some businesses rather will have to adapt to new technologies post the lockdown era. Disruptive technologies have been there for some time, but businesses did not hasten to adopt them into their operations. So what needs to happen now? Let's speak to Lebo Gunguluza, who is Group Chairman at GM Group. Of course, he's a turnaround strategist. Thank you very much for coming through, Lebo.
No, it's a pleasure, my chief. How are you doing?
Well, we're doing great. You know, Lebo, one has to say that from the beginning, when disruptive technology was discussed, some business owners delayed or were just having a lackluster approach to attend workshops, to learn more about digital technology and these disruptive technologies. Is this the time when now one can say, I told you so?
Yes, obviously it's the time. I think it's the time. Because, I mean, for a while, we have been lacking behind as South Africa and Africa when the whole world is making about $3.4 trillion on online business, and we are not participating in that. I mean, the participation of South Africa on online activity and the money that gets made online is only 1%. And most of the other countries and continents are, on average, are operating at about 10%. So clearly, something is not right. And I think we can't give an excuse to internet because we've got some of the best infrastructure when it comes to some of the best internet providers. For example, if you think about it, companies such as Amazon, they're the richest companies in the world. Alibaba is one of the richest companies in China. And they're both websites. They're nothing more than just a website. So if you think about it, you should be asking yourself, something's not right for us not to be participating in this digital economy. So it means that government must make an effort to make sure that data goes down and work very closely with the service providers, the internet service providers, to ensure that as many Africans as possible and South Africans are participating in this economy. I mean, if you think about it, all you need to participate in this economy is a smartphone, a smart device. And smart devices are becoming cheaper by the day. That means that if we can encourage as many young people to be able to run businesses directly from their phones, because the phone has got everything. It's got internet, it's got a telephone line, you can send emails via phone. But most of our youth are using their phones for social engagements only. And yet it's such a powerful business tool. So we are lacking behind in so many ways because we're not educating our youth effectively on the digital economy.
Okay, now that, you know, COVID-19 and the lockdown is upon us, I mean, it's going to take a long time for business adaptation to the normative way of doing business in the first world countries. What happens then? Because one can argue that from what analysts have been saying, there's going to be a new norm of doing business, and some small businesses will not either reopen after this because they won't be sustainable if they stick to the medieval way of doing business. But then if they have to move forward, they have to adapt. But what if some of them are not able to reopen? Is it a question of opening up new businesses and then coming up with new business ideas?
It's easy. I mean, if you already have products, it doesn't cost you much to open an online store because you already have products. And opening an online store means that you no longer only have to trade on your local environment. It means now you can trade globally. So now what this means is that we're no longer in a physical economy. We're now in what you call a knowledge economy. That means that you have to spend a lot of time on the internet teaching yourself about e-commerce. We've started a group as entrepreneurs who are very passionate about e-commerce and digital. It's called the Dropship Club, where we want to assist as many business owners to migrate their businesses from physical stores to online stores, because there they stand a chance. They don't have the rental to pay every single day or every single month. They don't have to keep stock. That's called drop shipping. It means that they can also move stock around the world because the infrastructure on moving stock around the world is easier than ever before. Now you can have someone buying something from you from Ghana with ease. So what we've done is that we are trying to gather effort and work with government to try and migrate as many entrepreneurs as possible to be part of this digital economy by opening online stores. Because if you think about it, as I said, all Amazon is just an online store. There's nothing.
Let me come in there.
It generates about 1.3 trillion rand.
Let me challenge you on that again. You must remember that we're not only addressing a narrow market of online stores. Now, what does this say to the property market, especially for commercial purposes, when one has to open an online store? What about that section?
The world is changing. The world is no longer about production. The world is about owning markets. If you think about it, there's a concept called prop tech, which is property technologies. It's changing the whole way that the property market is going to operate. If you think about it, does Uber own any taxis? No. Does Airbnb own any property? No. None of these new technologies are owning anything. The only thing that they own is database and traffic. And data is the new oil. So what we've got to focus on as Africans is to own global markets, own very niche markets in various areas. So if you are in property, it's fine. You can participate in the actual built industry, especially if in areas like infrastructure development. But if you're not anywhere and you're trying to make a living for yourself, the easiest low-risk area with low barriers to entry for the youth and South Africans to create jobs is the e-commerce space, is the app space, is the disruptive industries. That's why these industries have bulldozed all the other industries in the world, because you have access to a global market than ever before. So it's very, very important that as South Africans, we realize the power that if a company like Amazon can beat organizations that have been there for many, many years, have got infrastructure for days, and they can beat them because they own markets, it's very important that we understand that as South African, as much as it's important to own a product, but it's more important to own a market. That's why companies that have got great traffic on their websites can sell for billions of dollars. That's why app stores and apps like Instagram that have got huge traffic and huge market influence, they can sell for billions. Because these days, what's important is the ownership of the market. And how do you own this market? Everyone is holding a cell phone on their hand. And this cell phone is a smart device, and it's a smart property. In China, every single one pays through their phone. No one ever handles cash in China anymore. Everyone pays through their phone. So it should tell you something about that we're moving to a smart world. And if us as South Africans, we don't understand that, and we don't catch up to that, most of the money is going to get out of our country without us knowing. That's why these e-hailing companies, they take the money, it goes overseas, and it comes back by paying some of our taxi drivers. But the money is already gone overseas. So what e-commerce does, it introduces us to exporting products. It also introduces us to earning dollars. It's very, very important for the country.
All right, Lebo, I think this conversation will not end today. We will definitely have to take it further in our next interview. Thank you very much for making time, and have yourself a fantastic and a fabulous Friday afternoon.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much, Colin.
Lebo Gunguluza is a group chairman at DM Group, and he's also a turnaround strategist. And of course, I'm going to have to give pleasure to him.